Hello and welcome to the Wilder Lincolnshire podcast from the Lincolnshire Wildlife Trust. And today, out and about, we're in the picnic area of Snipe Dales Country Park. Rachel Shaw is here from the Trust. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, good morning.
What a glorious morning we've got.
Oh, it's fabulous, isn't it?
I tell you what I fancy doing today, a hedgehog walk.
Well, you're in the perfect location because that is what we're going to do. We are doing a hedgehog walk this morning.
Okay, we're going to have a wander around. We've got several people going to be joining us for this as well. Tell us a bit about Snipe Dales first of all, because we're sort of between Horncastle and Spilsby, aren't we?
We are, yes, and it's a fantastic little place because it kind of dispels all those myths about Lincolnshire being flat. I think this is probably our hilliest nature reserve, and it's a place in two halves. So we've got the country park area, which is a woodland area, and then we've got the nature reserve part, which is an open grassland.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? And I know a lot of people, I've been here quite a while, the car park's nearly full, and a lot of people come here and just have a walk, don't they?
Absolutely, because it's a beautiful place to have a walk, especially on a stunning morning like it is today. And we can hear the birds singing, there's buzzards being seen, so you're just kind of immersed in the wildlife as soon as you arrive.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? And the thing about it is Snipe Dales. Am I going to see a snipe today, do you think?
Unfortunately, not.
Oh.
It's very unlikely. So the name Snipe Dales does come from the bird, the snipe, which is a wading bird with a very long bill and incredibly beautifully, cryptically camouflaged plumage, kind of speckled with browns and whites and kind of golden colours. They're really stunning birds, but they are quite rare, especially as a breeding species. So we think the wet kind of grassland areas of Snipe Dales, they would have been a perfect breeding habitat for snipe, but unfortunately they're not breeding here anymore. We do get occasional visitors in the winter, but then they're not staying to actually have their young here.
Now, part of the reason for being here today is sort of public engagement, and it's important for the Trust to really involve the public and get their support, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we want people to enjoy the experience of wildlife and to learn more about wildlife, to see things and to hear the birds singing, and also understand what actions they can take for wildlife too. So we do, if you walk around somewhere like Snipe Dales, you'll see like information boards as well that you can read and find out about the wildlife. But we also put on lots of different events for all sorts of different ages. So we start at nature tots, the really little ones, and we have nature tot groups here and at 3 other reserves. We have open days and guided walks and lots of different ways you can get involved and learn about wildlife.
And this walk today is at Snipe Dales, but you are doing hedgehog walks at the other locations as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we're really keen on hedgehogs at the moment. We love them. We're doing hedgehog walks here at Wisby Nature Park, Gibraltar Point and Farrings. And hedgehogs, apparently they are supposed to be the UK's favourite mammal. But when did you last see a hedgehog?
Quite a while ago, to be honest with you. I sometimes hear them snuffling about in the garden. They can be quite noisy at night, can't they?
They can be, yeah, surprisingly noisy for small animals. But this is part of the problem. They're actually in quite a severe decline at the moment. So a species that used to be really quite common has now become quite rare. And lots of people, a lot of young people have never seen a hedgehog before, but there are simple actions we can take to help hedgehogs in our own gardens.
I remember coming to see you at the Lincolnshire show, and you were doing those little sort of bits at the bottom of the fence so hedgehogs could make a trail between one garden and the next.
Yeah, exactly, because the surprising thing is our walk today, 3 kilometres, which is quite a long way,
yeah.
But that is the distance a hedgehog can walk in an evening.
No.
So if you have a hedgehog in your garden, you tend to think, oh, it's my hedgehog, it's living in my garden. But actually it's living in your neighbourhood and it needs to be able to get around that neighbourhood. But if you have fences around your garden, it can't get into all those gardens and it needs access to all of them. So what you can do is just cut a really small hole in the bottom of your fence and then it can access all the gardens. And if everybody did that in their neighbourhoods, it would open up the landscape for hedgehogs.
I'm not expecting to see a hedgehog today. I'm not going to see lots of hedgehogs running around, am I?
No, because hedgehogs are nocturnal as well, so they come out at night, so we're not going to see them during the day. But we do have some substitute hedgehogs that we're looking for. So we have had positioned hedgehogs around the country park with facts, so we can seek out these hedgehogs and we can learn about them as we go around our 3-kilometre walk.
Now, also with us, we've got Paul. You're the new public engagement officer at the Trust. This is the early stages of your job, and you've come along to Snipe Dales.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a few weeks in, and we're here during the school holidays. So what we're seeing is some families dipping in, having a great experience, enjoying a walk and having a really good encounter with nature.
And what's your background to coming to join the team at the Trust?
Well, I've moved from Bristol. I've worked in tourism all of my life. And of course, combining that with a real understanding of why wildlife and nature is important, what we can do on a really local, family, personal level, and then experiencing the nature reserves and what the Wildlife Trust is doing, just joins it all together. So I've had a fantastic first few weeks getting out to many of our top nature reserves and just meeting volunteers, rangers, staff wardens who are happy to chat to people and share their enthusiasm. So yeah, really, really good first few weeks.
And it's really interesting. Public engagement is so important. I mean, I arrived here at Snipe Dales earlier today. I was having a chat with a family, didn't realise that the hedgehog walk was on, and they're staying to take part in the walk. It's sort of reaching out to people, isn't it?
That's what it's all about, yes. So we have trails and activities during school holidays. We also just have wow moments that you will encounter and come across as you visit any of our nature reserves. Willow Tree Fen, my absolute favourite. I was there last week and I thought, I'm not going to see a crane, am I? I've heard about it, I've watched the TV programmes and I know it's a habitat for them. The volunteers, their enthusiasm is contagious. They're beckoning me over to look through their binoculars. I saw several cranes, and when you think this is the country's largest bird, over a metre in size, and that had me going, that's a wow moment. This is, for me, just phenomenal.
It's very special, isn't it? Very special. I mean, as well as the public engagement, there's a bit of a fundraising element to this whole event as well, isn't there?
There is, if people choose to, and I think that's the important thing with fundraising. If you want to take part, this Hedgehog Trail, you can take sponsorship and look out for future campaigns and events like that that we will be running. But it's also just out and enjoying and understanding why we're doing the work we're doing, and just chat to some of the team and understand what you can do on a real local level as well. And hedgehogs is the perfect route into understanding that.
And when we talk about public engagement and events, what other sort of things have you got lined up for the rest of the year?
Oh, for the rest of the year, do you want me to list them all?
No, just give me a flavour.
Yeah, so we've got loads of things. So we have regular clubs. So we have nature tots for the little ones. We have wildlife watch groups for slightly older. And then on 3 of our reserves, we have junior wardens, and they all meet monthly. Then we have activities over the school holidays. So lots of it, like these trails. So in the summer holidays, we'll have different trails focusing on different species. We've got some kind of special events, like if you want to get up early, you can join a dawn chorus walk. That's really early. But yeah, a whole range of different things, and guided walks looking at different species and different places. So yeah, have a look at our website on the What's On pages and you can see the full list.
You got a glimpse of wildlife when you arrived this morning as well, didn't you, Paul?
Yes, as we drove in, a buzzard and a red kite spotted as we came in. So yes, so much going on.
Now, I was going to get annoyed with you because you said you'd been to Far Ings. Now, what happened at Far Ings?
Well, this was just magical, and I spent a little time in between meeting some of the team there, heading down to the bird hides, and we heard this really unique sound, and it was the bittern booming. And little did I know, this is a incredible phenomenon. The enthusiastic bird watchers there were looking around, and of course we didn't see it, unfortunately, but what a stunning sound, and the whole story there to be told.
I thought you were going to tell me you'd seen a bittern, because the last time I went to Far Ings I was told, yeah, you're going to see a bittern, and I never did, and I still haven't ever seen a bittern.
Sadly not yet here either, but maybe we'll make that discovery together.
The incredible thing about bitterns booming, and you heard them recently as well, Rachel, is that sound carries for miles, doesn't it?
Yeah, it carries a really long way, and it's quite an eerie call as well, and it's hard. You'd think, often when you hear a bird singing, you can kind of tune in to where it's coming from and then see the bird. But with bitterns, it's really difficult to know where the call is exactly coming from, and then spotting them in the reeds is just incredibly difficult.
Look, we're sitting down here having a bit of a natter. There's a group of people getting together because we're very near to setting off time on the hedgehog walk. Let's go meet them and join the walk. Right, we're out on the hedgehog walk at Snipe Dales. Hello, who are you?
Hi, I'm Cheryl.
Cheryl, you've come along with the group today, and we're having a look round here. But wildlife and nature is in your blood, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm just outside of Louth, and I've always loved nature. So yeah, it's been a big part of my life as I've grown up.
And where did you find out about the walk?
I'm a member of the Wildlife Trust, so we get monthly emails with various things that are going on. So we signed up from that.
And who have you got with you today?
So I've got my daughter Verity with me, and then my friend Pippa and her two sons, Edward and Monty.
And the dogs as well?
We've got the dogs too, yeah. We've got our dog Bentley, he's nearly 12, he's a miniature dachshund. And then my friend Pippa's dog, Doug, who's also a miniature dachshund, and he's just 10 months, he's a baby.
And those little legs, they're getting round the circuit, all right?
They do. When Bentley was younger, he would do a good 5 or 6 miles, no trouble. So not so much now he's getting older.
How important is it to get younger people involved with wildlife and nature, do you think?
I think it's really important for a lot of reasons, really. You know, there's big pushes for conservation at the moment and protecting things and looking after our world. And for me, I think that, you know, if they don't understand what's around them, then they can't begin to identify with it and see how they fit in with all the nature, how we, you know, contribute to the effects it has. And, you know, if they learn to enjoy it and understand it, then they can learn to love it and protect it. But
isn't it lovely seeing them out here today, enjoying the atmosphere? They're not sitting indoors on tablets or whatever it is.
No, definitely. We're very much an outdoors family. We live near the beach, so we spend a lot of time at the beach. Right from Verity being small, we've always spent a lot of time outdoors, even at home in the garden. Always much happier and a much more contented child when she's outside than rather when she's inside.
And they seem to be doing quite well on the hedgehog hunt.
Yep, they're enjoying it. They seem to be finding out facts. We're enjoying making hedgehog noises and learning out what they get to.
Yeah, we're deciding on grunts and snuffles.
Grunts and snuffles, yeah, that seems to be the favourite thing so far we've discovered.
Let me try and catch up with Pippa, who's just a little bit further ahead here. And you've got the boys today. They absolutely love wildlife and nature, don't they?
Yes, they really do, especially my youngest Monty. It's definitely a path that he's interested in following in later life. So it's lovely to come out and do things like this and it's gain some understanding, appreciation for wildlife.
And I think the thing is to be out like this on a day like today, you know, what better place to be?
Absolutely, absolutely. They love it, no matter what age. I originally thought that Ed might be a little bit old to come, but he's loving it as much as my 6-year-old. So any age, enjoys being out in the fresh air.
Is this Ed
sunshine,
here now?
This is Ed.
What have you learnt about hedgehogs so far, Ed?
They make grunting noises.
Can you make a grunting noise like a hedgehog? Okay, and who's this down here?
Monty.
Monty, can you make a noise like a hedgehog? Oh, it's a funny noise for a hedgehog to make. Anyway, have you learnt anything else about hedgehogs today?
That their babies are called hoglets.
Hoglets, that's right, yeah. So we're learning and getting involved. Hello, is it Verity?
Yes.
Hello, have you learnt anything about hedgehogs today?
No. That baby ones are hoglets.
They are hoglets. Anything else?
I forgot.
Oh, no,
They need help
They need help?
because they get run over by cars while trying to cross the road.
Oh, okay. So we need to look out for hedgehogs.
Yes.
Have you ever seen any in your garden?
No, actually.
No? Okay, well, we need to find out how we can encourage hedgehogs in your garden, won't we?
Yeah.
We also know something else, that they eat dog food sometimes.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. And I think cat ones as well.
Oh, okay.
I have something to do with not with snails. Basically, I don't know if this just happens to my grandma, but the snails get in the mailbox and then eat up the mail, and I do not know how they get in there.
Oh.
They like get in, eat up the mail, open it up, and it's like all munched up because there's these snails in there.
Oh dear. Oh.
Does that happen to you, or is that just us?
No, I haven't had that happen to me, but let's hope it doesn't happen anymore. still on our hedgehog walk, and Matthew, one of the estate workers, is here. It's great to see so many people having a wander around, isn't it?
It is, it's fantastic.
How long have you been at the site yourself?
I've been here since October, so I'm quite new to the site myself.
But not new to the trust. You've been other places, haven't you?
No, I've been started as a volunteer back in 2012. Was shorebird warden in 21 at Gibraltar Point. Estate worker again in 21. So I've been here for quite a while.
So what are the roles here at Snipe Dales?
Recently I've been digging up the ditches, livestock checks, making sure their livestock are all okay. We do have our cows coming back. We have Lincoln Reds coming back onto site, so we're looking forward to that.
Lovely area of primroses we're going past here now. Gorgeous, isn't it?
It is. They're one of the first flowers we have out.
We're talking about public engagement. How important is it that, you chat with the public as they're visiting as well when you're doing your work?
It's extremely important to educate people about the work we're doing here.
And it keeps you out of trouble as well?
It does, yeah. I mean, it is one of my favourite points, is trying to point out some of the wildlife we have on site. So we've just had our willow warblers turn up.
Have they just arrived?
Just arrived, yeah. I think this week.
Yeah.
We started hearing them. So we've got them coming in. We've got a lot of chiff chaffs turning up now as well, which they've all gone quiet now because you can usually hear them sitting around.
Always quiet when I'm recording.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
It really is nice, isn't it, to have a wander around here? A special place, isn't it?
It is. We're going past the chalk streams here. So these are really nice. They meander through.
They're very special for Lincolnshire, chalk streams, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Perhaps I'll bring Rachel back into the conversation here. We're just going past an area of chalk stream here at Snipe Dales, and they're a really important habitat, aren't they, for Lincolnshire?
They are, yeah. They're a very rare habitat, and we're really fortunate in Lincolnshire, in the kind of the area of the Lincolnshire Wolds, to have these chalk streams. And there's a Lincolnshire Chalk Stream project, who are based with the Wolds Countryside Service, who are actually focusing on working on the chalk streams, working with different landowners to improve them and make sure they're managed to the best they can be for their wildlife.
I would imagine we're at one of the lowest points of Snipe Dales at the moment, because the stream just meandering through here is really picturesque, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really pretty. It's one of the highlights of Snipe Dales, really, is just being able to walk alongside the stream.
Now, while we're out on the walk, I suppose we ought to also mention a couple of other things that have been going on with the Trust recently. And when we had the shipping accident off the coast, that created some sort of debris on the Lincolnshire coast, and that was quite concerning for the Trust, wasn't it?
It was, and it's still an ongoing situation. So unfortunately, the tanker that was on fire, as they were putting out the fires, a lot of the stuff kind of got washed off into the sea, and the things that they were carrying on the deck of the tanker are small plastic pellets called nurdles.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really tiny plastic pellets, and they're shipped around the world and then used to make other plastic goods.
Right.
So there's billions, probably trillions of these tiny plastic pellets. And because as they were putting the fires out, the intense heat has burnt these nurdles into big kind of clumps.
Right, so they're sort of semi-melted and clumped up.
Yes,
yeah?
Exactly. And they have a kind of smell like kerosene. So it's really quite unpleasant. And this is what is washing up on our beaches, as well as the individual tiny nurdles.
Now, what has actually happened then? I know that you've had volunteers, you've had various groups of people out there helping with the clean-up operation.
Yeah, so there's a massive effort to clean this up from all the local authorities and different people who are involved in caring for the coast, and volunteers as well. So there's a particular way of collecting the nurdles in clear plastic bags and making sure you don't touch them with your bare hands. And they're then being taken away and weighed, so we know how much has actually been collected. So there's the kind of process in place for collecting the burnt nurdles. We're also working with an amazing company called Nurdle.
They're called Nurdles?
They're called Nurdle.
They're specialists?
And they're specialists in collecting these small nurdles, and they've actually got some specialist equipment that they're bringing to Gibraltar Point, and they're loaning us some kind of nurdle vacuum cleaners.
Right.
So we can actually try and collect these really tiny nurdles as well.
Is the concern that wildlife will digest the nurdles? Is that what the worry is?
Yeah, so the biggest worry, the small nurdles kind of look like fish eggs.
Right.
So sometimes they are coloured quite brightly, but the ones we're getting washed up are all a kind of pale kind of white colour, so they look like fish eggs, and that's the kind of thing that lots of different bird species eat, or the fish will eat. And then unfortunately, when animals and birds, when they ingest plastic, they can feel full even though they're not having anything nutritious, so it's really dangerous for them.
And I would imagine it's going to be ongoing, isn't it? You know, you can't suddenly say, yeah, we've got all the nurdles, because they'll still keep washing up for probably years to come, won't they?
Yeah, I think this is now, you know, we were very fortunate, unlike a lot of coasts around the world, that we weren't finding nurdles on our beaches, and I think now, unfortunately, that, you know, for years to come we will find them, because they're out in the North Sea now, and they're being, you know, they're washed in on the tides.
And what should people do? I suppose the advice is not to pick them up yourself. I suppose if there was a large quantity, you need to notify the authorities.
I think if there's a lot of them, then yes, notify the authorities. There is a number on our website that people can call. I think you know, we might say don't pick them up, but obviously people find it really hard to leave litter. If you are going to pick them up, then if you can leave, you know, let somebody know, or, you know, so that those nurdles can be reported. And the other thing is to make sure you keep your dog on a lead. If there's particularly those burnt nurdles that have this really kind of horrible smell to them, we don't know what's in there, so, you know, we don't want anyone dogs getting close and sniffing. Or
I think it's really interesting because it's something that's, you know, you're not expecting to deal with, but the trust stepped in and helped, didn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, for everybody who works along the coast, a completely unexpected event, something that obviously nobody wanted to happen at all. Really tragic event for all of those involved. But then, yeah, all our teams on the coast, and even, you know, staff and volunteers from across Lincolnshire have been pulling together, particularly at Gibraltar Point, because we know the little terns and the ring plovers were just about to start nesting.
And they nest on the beach, don't they?
They nest on the beach. They nest on the ground, on the beach. So it had to make a really big effort to get into. There's an area that's a sanctuary area where they nest, that we close off to people. Nobody goes in once they're nesting because they're on the ground. They're so vulnerable to disturbance. So there was a massive effort to clear as much of that as possible before the birds come back and start nesting.
Well, let's hope, you know, things are past the worst in that respect, but it's good to know that you and the team, you know, were available to go out and help with the other organisations to the clear up side of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's out of like these kind of tragic events, it shows like how well people work together and how people do kind of pitch in and help when they need to. And, you know, we've been really thankful of all the different organisations and everybody, you know, there's been lots of meetings and discussions about how best to deal with it. So in terms of everybody working together, it's been a very positive thing out of a terrible situation.
Indeed. Well, good luck with the rest of that. We've got the rest of the hedgehog walk to do. I hadn't expected to see this, but some of the youngsters are in the stream down here as well, having a bit of a paddle. It's such a glorious day, isn't it?
It is a fabulous day. We did, because Snipe Dales can get very muddy.
Yes.
So we did tell everybody, bring your wellies, because, you know, there could be mud. But instead of the mud, we've got this beautiful little stream to paddle in.
Absolutely. Do you fancy a paddle?
I haven't actually got my wellies on.
Oh, what a shame. Missed opportunity. Anyway, we'll continue the hedgehog walk here with the Lincolnshire Wildlife Trust, and thank you for listening to the latest Wilder Lincolnshire podcast. So at the end of our hedgehog walk, hello, have you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
What have you learned about hedgehogs then?
That they need our help, and that they're in 75% decline since like 2001.
Oh my goodness, and what have you learned?
That baby hedgehogs are called hoglets, and that hedgehogs hibernate mid-March to November.
Excellent. Have you enjoyed the walk?
Yep.
What have you learnt today then?
I've learnt that hedgehogs make noises snuffle and grunt, and I've also learnt they live in hedgerows and gardens.
Wow, excellent. It's time for your lunch now, isn't it?
Yep.
You enjoy that as well?
Yeah, thank you.